something special. Twilight Racing, and we'll see you tomorrow. Right there. Looking forward to it. And we are now officially in night mode at Sydney Motorsport Park. It's enough to make Richard Craill smile. And this is going to be exciting because we've got both the Carrera Cup Asia and Australia competitors on track. The two official races of the show tonight.
Two joint races, Carrera Cup Australia and Asia meet as they've done for the last 2 years. And it's 2-all. Yeah. So, actually, it's 1-all, essentially, with Australians winning at home in 2016 and Carrera Cup Asia won in Malaysia last year. So the grid works out on qualifying times. The Australian competitors will line up from grid 1 backwards. On the other side, it's Carrera Cup Asia. That means that Roger Largo starts from pole alongside Bao Jinglong, Adrian Flack and Francis Cha, who had an unfortunate end to his championship points paying weekend. He gets a shot at redemption this afternoon.
They don't often get a shot to win a race outright, the Pro-Am drivers, so this one means a lot to them. Even if it's not quite for championship points, they'll all get 10 championship points just for starting. But it's really about pride because not very often do they get a chance to be outright first to the checkered flag. Now, there'll be some nervous drivers here as well because they'll be, for the case of Roger Largo and Bao Jinglong, starting off the front row of a race, which is something that they very rarely get to do. Usually they're buried back in the field. Got onboards to watch out for, including Adrian Flack, who's been a front runner in the Australian Series. Had a really good run this weekend in the Pro-Am class, picking up the round win there. Dean Cook flying the flag for Australia as well.
So 16 laps, same different distance as the championship races we've seen, all 4 of them. 2 for each series. They're using the best of what tyres they've got left from the 3 sets of new rubber they've been allocated for this weekend. So these are the Pro-Am contenders. They'll line up a long way back that grid in front of a massive crowd. That grandstand full. They're lined up all the way around Sydney Motorsport Park. It's a very, very cool atmosphere. And these guys are chomping at the bit. They are really keen to put on a show. The Pro-Am joint races we've had, as I said, last year at Sepang, Malaysia, 2 years ago at this same venue, have all been very, very exciting. In 2016, Stephen Grove led Home One Bo to win the Pro-Am race here. And then last year, the Pro-Am race was won by Yui Tan from Carrera Cup Asia. With Evan Chen home in second place. Tim Miles chased them and finished third. So there's been an Aussie and an Asian representative on the podium on both occasions.
We hope you enjoy this one. Racing under lights at Sydney Motorsport Park. A pair of Carrera Cup races to get us in the mood for 300 kilometres of supercars action. This one, the Pro-Am drivers versus Asia. Australia drivers lined up on the inside row behind Roger Largo, who's back in this championship and will have a chance to win a race outright, something that they so rarely get to do. A few eager guys on the noise early. Green flag now. The Pro-Am
was away well in that Hallmark Holmes car from the 3rd row. Got a lot of wheel spin, sort of jigged out to the inside of the road, but gathered it all up. Gee, that was busy. What a launch from Largo. I thought Jinglong was away well, but it looked like he broke in the wheel spin chain. Either wheel spin or it broke, bogged down in that second phase of the start.
Did an almighty burnout is essentially what happened. So Bao Jinglong will lose a little bit of ground, but incredibly hangs on the second because guys behind him didn't jump that quick either. As a result, it relinquishes the pressure of Roger Largo. Leads the field in the opening lap.
Shane Spollen in the mix there. There's Tim Miles, who, as I said, was on the podium at Sepang. Absolutely loved that race and flying the flag. The other driver to watch will be Stephen Grove. There's no one on this grid who likes representing Australia more than Stephen Grove. He's got the big boxing kangaroo plastered up the side of the Grove hire car. He's 9th at the moment. I expect him to work his way forward. So Largo representing Carrera Cup Australia. Bao Jinglong next representing Carrera Cup Asia. Then it's Adrian Flack, Wayne Shen, Anthony Gilbertson next and Lee Chow. So they're line astern, one by one. It's a great even mix so far.
A little lock up from Flack, putting the pressure on Bao. Largo, Bao, Flack. Wayne Shen having the best run we've seen from him all weekend. Sort Just covering the inside down the front straight. Nose is under a little bit of pressure as the headlights are ablaze.
The other
Cars.
thing, Chad, the driver said was that these cars run a LED headlight. There's 4 separate LED globes on each side of the car. And they said even in daytime conditions, they're really bright. It's quite startling as that car rattles up the inside under brakes.
Watch out.
Wow. Very, very deep in turn 2. A little bit of contact behind.
Butcher on and Cook. They've sorted out. Sort of looking for back in behind Clean on that occasion. Gets it sorted.
So the point I was making about the lights is that looking in a mirror, all you're going to see is 2 piercing white lights flying up behind you, and you won't be able to judge that closing distance. So you look at the start, Gilbertson thought about going down the inside of Flack at turn 1, but decided he'd be better off not doing that and pulled in behind Wayne Shen. Severe from Adrian Flack.
Christian Tier had to start from pit lane. The Canadian unfortunately had his window net down. Couldn't get it. So
no.
Time. Yep. Had to go down pit road, and that's where he started.
Tell you what, how good was the timing? And this was that moment we just referenced. Anthony Gilbertson was lucky there.
The sun going down?
Yeah, just in time behind the spectator mound at turn 1.
Very cool. It's been a busy start to the Pro-Am race, and we've actually just had the safety car deployed. So there's been some drama, and this will be why. And that is Xiu Lung stuck up against the fence, and Lung's car, heavy rear damage, so hasn't turned hard left. Eric Mong nearly did the same thing. So safety car for the first time, Vodafone Porsche safety car.
Now, I tell you what, we're very, very close between Adrian Flack and Bao Jinglong in that battle for second place. 6/100ths between them. And I think Bao will hold on to second place. It was just in front as they crossed the line. So you just have to surrender that spot. Adrian Flack slot in behind him. So safety car out, group the field up once again. The other consideration, Chad, is that Porsche Carrera Cup Australia has a round at the Ben Motorsport Park. It's the next stop on the Virgin Australia Supercars Championship for the OTR Super Sprint in 3 weeks' time. Carrera Cup Asia heads to the Singapore Formula 1 Grand Prix. It's mid-September. The problem is these cars get loaded into shipping containers tonight. They will leave tomorrow morning and get put on a boat. They only get, as Mark Sini has a very big lock-up in behind him, Drunk Padiachi, they only get 4 or 5 days max with the car in Singapore before they go racing. So Carrera Cup Asia need to be a little bit careful because one race in Singapore, it's vital for the championship. So they've just had that in the back of their minds.
Xiu Yuklung has pulled up in the LKM entry. The Malaysian-based team, Hong Kong-based driver, 63 years of age, has been actually racing in this championship since it started back in 2003. It's kind of like the Mark Sini of the Asian Championship. And unfortunately, that car has fairly hefty damage on the right-hand side, but still running. So it's swiped the wall on driver's left coming out of turn 1. And he's probably got away with it, to be honest, because we've seen much more damage than that from drivers who've done a similar thing. This crowd continuing to build. They're vocal. The atmosphere is great. It's still pouring through the gates as well. Getting ready for what will be race 21 of the championship. How cool is this venue under lights? Seen some pretty special events here. The 500cc World Motorcycle Days to the A1 Grand Prix. World Time Attack, something a bit different. Oh, something different tonight.
It's a great addition to the calendar. And have to say, already a success. I know we haven't actually had the race yet, but just for the volume of people in, the vibe around the precinct, so much enthusiasm. Media centres full, corporate suites are full, a lot of energy about the place. Grandstand full. What a sight. And they're spread all the way around the circuit. A lot of people
taking lights out.
Yeah, it's cool. A lot of people taking vantage points around the back, around turn 5 and turn 6. And there's a huge crowd up on the hill at turn 2 as well, and that great action zone up the hill there.
Headlights on for Porsche Wilson Security Carrera Cup. The Asia versus Australia Pro-Am race under safety car conditions. Can't be too far away from getting a restart, as Xiu's car has been moved away from where it was sitting at in between turns 1 and 2. Not a bad spot to watch from up, even during daylight hours on top of the pit building, but add the disco lights and the rigging that we've got up there, a couple of Colt Coopers.
How good's the lighting? That's great.
wait until you see what we've got in store pre-race tonight.
The intros are going to be phenomenal. The pre-race show,
something totally different here.
First for the Virgin Australia Supercars Championship. It's cool we get to kick it off with a couple of Carrera Cup races. Safety car, pros to come. That's going to be a great fight with the best of the best from Carrera Cup Australia, going head-to-head with the likes of Martin Raginger and Philip Hamprecht and Carrera Cup Asia.
Pulled over to the left-hand side of the short circuit, which was actually touted as being what would be running on tonight. That was the original plan, to turn it back to 1996 and run under lights on the short circuit. And that's a cool left right jink before you go to turn 4. You go left and up and over. And
going to go uphill.
Use it third drive days here. My one and only time I got to drive was on that short circuit.
I was waiting for that to pop up. Great to see lots of young fans here as well. Parents bring them out to the racetrack to have a look. And racing cars look cooler under lights. It's a fact. It's not an opinion. So
race cars look better
will be good
in the wet and under lights.
Absolutely. And that practice session last night was a great experience. So many people stuck around to check it out. So we're just waiting to see what they decide to do with this car, whether he's out of harm's way enough or whether we do need a recovery. In the meantime, the field remains under safety car. Well, there's the answer. Good to see the Towies back in Movember.
I think the problem was Siu Lung didn't really know where he wanted to stop, and as a result, it was they've been chasing him around the venue. He's actually driven all the way through to the exit of turn 8.
Yeah.
so he's kind of parked it in an awkward spot for him. We'll get that car picked up.
For Bao Jinglong, who's running second, it's been a great weekend from a championship point of view in Porsche Carrera Cup Asia. Came into the weekend third in the championship. Really good run in race 1. Solid points finish in race 2. Decent points haul. So he's elevated himself into the realms of being a contender. This guy had a rough run in their second race for Carrera Cup Asia. Francis Cha, he's running 8th in this race at the moment.
Qualifying, Armor qualifying in the supercars was incredible. And it will be Scott McLaughlin on the pole tonight.
It's a remarkable strike rate, isn't it? And you just sit back and look in astonishment at what he continues to be able to do. On demand, almost like it's on cue. Righto, Scott, go and get pole. Okay, bang. And he does.
Accomplished.
Yeah, it's extraordinary. And you have to say it removes a variable for him, doesn't it? Because no one really knows what that turn 1 rush is going to be like.
All right, current drivers on the supercars grid tonight that have come via Carrera Cup. A couple of big names like Fabian Coulthard come to mind. We've seen Dave Reynolds, he had a lot of success. Yeah. It's a really good stepping stone, isn't it?
Well, it's the intensity of the competition, I think, Chad, that does it. And that's why we see guys like James Moffat, David Wall, Stephen Richards in the past who won a championship come back to Carrera Cup after it, in that there's no other category outside of Super 2 that has the level of intensity where if you drop a 10th, it's 3 grid rows.
Yeah, Andre Heimgartner used it to reinvigorate his career. We saw that last year. Now he's back on the grid.
Dale Wood's doing it this year. He's come back into Carrera Cup after a tough time in supercars, and he's loving life. Hasn't had a great couple of rounds, so he's dropped some points in the championship. But it's so fiercely competitive. It's professionally run, relatively affordable for motorsport at that level, and enjoyable. They really discover a love of motor racing that maybe some of them have had difficulty dealing with in the main game, running down the back of the field. So it works. And drivers like a James Moffat is going to jump in with Chaz Mostert this year, the Super Cheap Auto Ford. He will be pin sharp from lap 1 because he's been driving a racing car at 110% all season long. He's got miles. He's been competitive. He's been fast. It's going to be great fun to watch.
See Carrera Cup at the mountain, as well as the last round of the Pertec Endurance Cup, which was also the last round of the Enduro Cup for Carrera Cup. As we go on board with the Vodafone safety car, will we see that in tonight's 300k race? There's about a 50-50 shot, 46% chance.
Does that go up, though, with the variable of night racing, I wonder?
And length
Does
of race?
Change? Yeah, 300k?
Probably yes. We did see the safety car on Saturday and Sunday last year in the 2 races for the supercars. It's got a real party atmosphere and carnival atmosphere out there. We've got rides for the kids. We've got lots of food stalls, merchandise areas. It's That's the look inside race control from the grandstand. And you can actually see from the grandstand clearly inside race control as to how that's all lit up right now.
It's like a value add, isn't it? That
Yeah.
no one really expected. Get a look inside the operations. Everyone can see the back of Stephen Johnson calling the shots as the driver standards observer for this category.
Dead wind out there right now. Those flags are still, and we are just about in perfect conditions for motor racing tonight. It's not too late. Come out here if you're watching right now on 506. If you're thinking, I really want something to do on a Saturday night, come and join us.
Join the party.
That's what it's like out there right now. There's plenty of that going on.
How good are they? Surprisingly effective, actually. Lighting up the grandstand from the other side of the racetrack. That's the view from up on the hill on turn one. Lots of people up there. So this race suggests we'll probably go time certain now we've had these laps under safety car. Monitor that for you. That is a full grandstand at Sydney Motorsport Park. It's a great sight.
So shouldn't be too far away from getting back to green flag conditions. If it's this lap, the lights should go out at turn 8. We'll be back to green flag running. Safety car in this lap. Confirmation on our timing screens right now. The Pro-Ams out on track for Carrera Cup. To be followed by the Pro Race itself. And then it's on to the big show.
Wall gets another shot from the front row in that one, having qualified on pole for the Australian field, who starts second in the Pro Race alongside Martin Ragging it.
That's great, isn't it? Look at that. Technicolor sky over the Blue Mountains, looking west from the venue. Out towards Penrith, home of James Courtney.
Whoever controls the weather, thanks. Nice job. Nailed it.
Absolutely perfect.
Blue skies, a little bit of cloud earlier today. That's disappeared. The breeze has dropped off, making it a little bit more comfortable for all the spectators here at the circuit because it was quite cool in the breeze. Now that's gone. It's still quite balmy outside.
It's lovely.
Yeah.
It's the picture postcard night with the support that this event gets from Destination New South Wales. It's perfect. We're showing this venue in this city on a grand scale. Remember, 11 different nations covered in this category alone this weekend, so putting on a great display of what this city's capable of. Green flag this time by for Roger Largo. We'll get this race going. Bao Jinlong, Adrian Flack, Wayne Shen, Anthony Gilbert's in your top 5. It's Australia, Asia, Australia, Asia. And it's going to be a red run to the checkered flag. They're queuing up behind Roger Largo. You're going a little bit early here.
Slow restart too. Roger held them for a very long time. A few people anticipated that before they really got the go sign. Largo leads. Bao Jinglong next. Flack and Shen third and fourth. There's Stephen Grove with that big boxing kangaroo. He's still ninth. We watch for some moves a little bit further back. There's Anthony Gilbertson. Behind him, Shane Smolin jumping in for a one-off drive in the championship. Former champion in the Tag Heuer Pro-Am class in Carrera Cup Australia.
On board with Dean Cook. He currently sits P11. Roger Largo leading. He's been at the front of plenty of Australian GT fields in his Lamborghini, so knows how to lead a race, which is actually something that a lot of drivers out here won't have a lot of experience in. They're usually fighting mid-pack and beyond in outright sense. Black on the charge here. He's just getting covered by Bao Jinlong down at turn 6. Can you get the run through here and get the move done up towards turn 7? Gets a great exit. He's close. He's just run out of road. Oh,
how's the block?
Really covers him.
And really aggressive Carrera Cup Asia, aren't they, in covering their line? Perhaps more so than Australia.
Definitely more so than Australia.
The regulations are very, very similar as to what they allow and don't allow in blocking. Just a bit more liberal at doing it. Now Flack's got a great run out of the hairpin. We've seen this before today.
Bao gets out of it.
Good pass. Flack moves himself to second place. Wayne Shen now stacking up behind Bao, and Anthony Gilbertson's there as well in the Hallmark Homes car.
2 seconds now. His countryman, Adrian Flack. Headlights ablaze. Carrera Cup, Asia versus Australia. For the second time here in Sydney. Australia looking to double up from their victory here in 2016. Gilbertson now on Shen. They go late on the brakes. He'll just get it stopped to Willie. Shen goes sideways and clips the right rear of Shane Smolin. It might be enough to damage that radiator. We've seen how fragile they are.
What if that car's got broken steering? Yeah, it does. He needs to be careful, Wayne Shen. There's a angry concrete wall just down the side of this hill here. Saw a big crash there in Australian GT earlier today.
Turning left's not the problem.
The gravel
Right is the problem.
might be okay just to get out of the way on driver's left after turn 3. Stop.
Wasn't a lot they could do about it. The broken front steering on that car, and that'll give another headache for race control. Are they going to allow that car to stay there and cover it with local yellows potentially? Look on Steve Johnson's face would say no, and safety car is scattered. So Vodafone Porsche safety car times 2. Unfortunately, the Canadian driver ducks in the gravel. This is how it all went down.
Could have been worse, but Gilbertson sent it. It was a good move. Unfortunately, just missed the braking marker. Now, there's something in that, and I'll tell you about it in just a second, because the one change between the Australian and Asian cars this weekend is that the Pro-Ams in Australia usually use ABS. Now, the really good guys at the front don't use it until it's a Hail Mary right at the end of their braking performance. So Gilbertson wouldn't have worried about ABS for 85% of that move, but the last 15% when he locked the brake, that's probably the difference. That's what caused him to lock up. They've turned the ABS off on the Australian cars, so they're equal with the Carrera Cup Asia cars this weekend. So I reckon that might have contributed just a little bit to it, Chad.
I think you're right.
Gilbo got away with one there, though, with no damage. Unfortunately, Wayne Chen can't say the same. Broken steering, but again, could have been worse. That won't be a massive job to repair that car in time for Singapore.
Won the class in 2012. Back when it was Class B. Originally from Canada, like we mentioned, now lives in Hong Kong and drives for the Modern Motorsport team based in Hong Kong.
The other thing to note is that there's been representatives of both series on the podium in 3 of the 4 joint races we've had. And in Pro-Am, each of the 2 races have had representatives from both series, so it's been very evenly matched. And at the moment, it's Australia first and second, and Zhao Binglong still flying the flag for his home series in 3rd place.
The speed that Adrian Flack's got this weekend, if this does go back to green flag, he may have an answer for Roger Largo. He dropped 2 seconds back in the process of passing Bao Jinlong. But maybe, just maybe, if we do find time for some green flag running, we might see a change of position there. Now, Stephen Grove's been through the pits and has dropped to the back of the pack. Did he potentially pick up some debris down there, I wonder?
Quite possibly.
At turn 2.
He was just behind that battle pack.
And he won this race 2 years ago. Let's go back and relive some of the start procedure for this race. Adrian Flack started on the 2nd row. He now sits P2.
It was like 20 minutes ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, unbelievable how different it looks.
So that was Shen going around the outside. This is Flack following Bao Jinglong through turn 1. Out in front, and this is Francis Cha. So the other side of the road. Oh yeah, it didn't work.
How about the big snaky down the road from Bao Jinlong? That car lit up the rear tyres, big fishtail down towards turn 1.
Oh, gee, Francis Cha paid for that. And he got gobbled up before turn 1. And he still runs 7th. So we're still behind the safety car, lap 9 of 16 in the joint race for the Pro-Ams. Cameron?
Stephen Grove had a puncture in the left rear due to contact, so he came in, changed that tyre, back out on track.
Copy that, Cameron. Thank you. So that explains it. And it's a nicely timed safety car for Stephen Grove, but unfortunately he will have a mountain to climb if we do get back to green flag racing. That's a cool shot.
He's had a good day though, regained the lead in the Tag Heuer Pro-Am class. And on that point, you're talking about Roger Largo battling Adrian Flack. Roger's got something to prove because he lost the lead in the Pro-Am battle after a really disappointing race 2 in the Carrera Cup Australia Championship.
This would be a very interesting time to start a supercars race, wouldn't it? Just at that sort of twilight period, the sun going down, the conditions changing rapidly. It's proper night time when this race goes green tonight at 7:20 p.m. Inside 2 hours to race start. The big show that comes with it.
Cool look across from the top of the pit building. That's why there's lots of fans up there. It's fun watching races at this venue. You start on one side, you migrate across the other, you see the back half of the circuit and wander back over to see them on the start-finish straight. Good viewing at Sydney Motorsport Park, especially under lights. See, that's like more 24 hour, isn't it? bright headlights over the hill between turn 3 and turn 4. Talked at the start about those bright LEDs these cars use. It's blinding. Actually looking in your rearview mirror and just seeing that. 7 laps will remain at the end of this. Beautiful skies in the west of Sydney.
Now we talked about the short circuit earlier. This is actually where you can peel off and go on to the long circuit, which actually hasn't been used as much as people thought it was probably going to be used when the track was extended.
They allow 2 circuits to be used here though. They do use it for club level racing on the north circuit. It's very tight, very technical. It's quite different in character to the full Sydney Motorsport Park fast and flowing layout. I can't get over this. How cool does that look? That's mega.
The track rejoins just up from this part of the circuit. But a lot of work and a lot of time, a lot of thought. Some very creative people have gone into this event tonight. Good to see the former CEO James Warburton here as well earlier, having a chat with his, I guess, replacement.
Yep.
Top job. Sean Seamer earlier, the two of them chatting probably about what we have ahead of us, and a lot of this was courtesy of James Warburton. It was, I guess, a vision of his to go racing under lights again. It was all about picking the right track. It wasn't going to be Darwin at one point. Well, here it is tonight. It feels like a long time in the making, and worth the wait because we've got something special planned tonight.
It's brilliant. All the drags. Sydney Dragway. You spent some time there.
Certainly have, under lights.
Wow.
On the other side of the venue, multi-purpose motorsport park out here. Have drift, 2-wheel racing.
You'll see the stars of supercars, get it? A little bit later on. Countdown continues.
Under Jack, Brabham straight. Turn 5, named after Peter Brock. It's turn 05. The circuit we're currently racing on, named after Wayne Gardner.
Located just off Peter Brock Drive and Brabham Drive.
It's perfect, isn't it?
Race City, Sydney. Remain under safety car. This pro race. Unfortunately, these recoveries just taking some time to get the cars out of the gravel trap. First one, the recovery crew had to chase the car around the circuit before they could get it on the back of the flatbed.
It definitely hampers recovery efforts when it's still moving.
Yeah, correct. We're just soaking it in the vibe of an unbelievable evening in Sydney's West.
So for Carrera, it started in China this year. It's been to Japan, it's been to Thailand, here in Australia for their 4th stop. And they've still got Singapore, Malaysia, and then another stop to wrap it up. Very competitive series. We'll see the pros up next.
World Cup Australia, next stop at the OTR Super Sprint, the Ben Motorsport Park in country South Australia. And then up to the mountain, and then on the streets of the Gold Coast. Now we're hearing one lap dash. And the pressure, I think, will be on Bao Jinglong. He's in 3rd place, flying the flag for Carrera Cup Asia to stay on the podium. He will be very keen to remain there. He's got a very fast driver in Anthony Gilbertson just behind. Shane Smolin and Lee Charles round out the top 6.
Lights out and a 1-lap sprint. This Porsche Carrera Cup Australia versus Asia. Has Adrian Flack got an answer for Roger Largo?
On raw speed, yes, absolutely. But Roger Largo's been around the block once or twice, both in these cars and in GT cars. A lot of experience at the Bathurst 12-hour, ironically, so the whole nighttime thing is not unfamiliar to him. He's raced at the Sepang 12-hour race on numerous occasions. And he's got clear racetrack in front of him. That's the view.
Oh, they're nervous, they're waiting. Largo's holding him. His prerogative as to when he goes, and they're queuing up. It's going to be a messy restart. If anything, Largo drops the hammer. Flack runs with him, maybe 3 or 4 car lengths, and the green flag in the air. Side by side, further back in the pack.
Smolin and Lee Chow.
Smolin swing around across the outside. That was frantic.
It's good.
Bit on here. Flack, is he close enough? Smolin, potential move down the inside of Gilbertson, has been growing in confidence this weekend. His first weekend in the newer model 991 Porsches for Shane Smolin, former champion in this category.
That was an example of why we have traffic jams on the road, because the guy in front was doing the same speed. No one else would give way and merge in, Chad. So they all checked up behind and it got really, really busy. But Largo, the JBS racing car, has clear air. He's got David Russell, vastly experienced supercars racer, on his headset. calling the shots, coaching him through. It's a long-standing friendship and partnership, and it's paid off in this race. Bouncing long, holds on from Gilbertson. He's only got a few corners to try and get himself onto the podium.
Unfortunately for the Bankside entry, it's pulled up down there. The entrance to turn 2, I think that was some tyre complaining.
Yep.
Oh, and a lock-up for Flack. That'll be enough now for Roger Largo to cruise home to victory. JBS entry, returning to Carrera Cup after a stint away. Picked up his first pole award for Tag Heuer this weekend. And doubling down right now against the Asian visitors. It's advantage to Carrera Cup Australia, at least in the Pro-Am race. Fine drive from Roger Largo, under lights, in front of the growing crowd here tonight at Sydney. Checkered flag is out. Roger Largo gets the win. It's an Australia 1-2. Bouncing long first of the Asians home, and then Gilbertson right there with him.
Bouncing long, Gilbertson and Smollen were locked together. Almost 3 wide as they cross the line. And away from Roger Largo. That's the first Porsche Wilson Security Carrera Cup Australia race ever held under lights. And it's now 2-1 Australia-Asia in the joint races. For Pro-Am contenders, Largo wins from Flack. And that streak of having both series represented on the podium shows how competitive they are. Well done, Bao Long getting home in third.
Lovely drive from Roger Largo. And a packed field of Pro-Am stars, 26 in total. And unfortunately for a couple towards the end there, Su Yuglung and Wayne Shen finding some issues and not managing to bring those cars home. So that's the Pro-Am done. Pro coming up after the break. We're one step closer to night racing at the Red Rooster Sydney Super Night 300.
Look at that. There's a car behind you. Now, I reckon as a result of that, we're going to get safety cars. Let's just hope it lands on about lap 35. That would be very great.